Well, joining me on the line on 891 Mornings with me, Ian Henschke, is Gerald Celente, our regular chat from America. Now, the last time we spoke, Gerald, you were saying that New York was bracing itself for a storm and you thought that it was probably over-exaggerating what was about to happen, but it did turn out to be quite a storm, didn't it, with loss of life and a lot of homes lost?
Yeah, it was a loss of life. People aren't talking about the loss of life in Haiti, are they? More people died in Haiti than in New York and New Jersey. And what people aren't also talking about is the failing infrastructure, the dilapidated and obsolete infrastructure of America. There was talk about building seawalls in Staten Island and other areas that got washed out that had just been pushed to the side. What civilized nation doesn't have floodgates in front of its tunnels on an area built at sea level? And as I had mentioned to you, when the reports are first coming in, down in Battery Park, I pointed out that used to be all places where ships used to dock, and they made it a landfill and built apartment houses on it. So what you have is a nation that's totally ill-prepared. Could you imagine if there was a dirty bomb that went off in New York City or Washington, D.C., or if there was a terror strike of any consequence? This whole thing collapses. You look around, look at the photos that you see. Telephone poles falling down everywhere, no electricity. This is the 21st century. These poles were put up when there was telegraph lines. Again, America has squandered all its money fighting overseas. You look at the studies that came out 3 years ago. They said it would cost Americans an estimated $14 trillion just to make its infrastructure compatible with 21st century. That doesn't mean bringing it ahead. That means just keeping it up. Have you ever been in a subway in New York City? It's a day in Calcutta. Well, these damn things are over 100 years old.
Well, look, Gerald Celente, we did cross to someone after we spoke to you who was over in New York for the marathon, and they said that they had to walk up, I think it was 15 flights of stairs because the electricity was still out. Now, this was some time later. Has the electricity gone back on in all parts of New York, or are there still problems?
No, it's still problems. In Staten Island, a lot of the places are wiped out. There's nothing there. And remember I mentioned to you that it would be positive for Obama if he showed up and made a big show that how we're there for the people and we want you to know that we'll always be there for you and don't worry. And it worked. Now he's off overseas, making a presidential tour.
Hillary Clinton is here in Australia. She's talking about the US alliance with Australia. There's talk about strengthening that. There's even some talk from a former Prime Minister, Paul Keating, saying this is a very bad signal because it's aligning us too strongly with the US and sort of portraying China as the, well, not as the enemy, but as someone we should be very, very concerned about. He says this is not the way to run international affairs. Do you agree with Paul Keating?
Oh, absolutely. Look, why would anybody listen to America when it comes to talking about running international affairs? Hey, they did a great job in Iraq, didn't they? Beautiful day in Afghanistan. I got an idea, Ian. Let's bomb Libya. We'll call it a humanitarian mission. I have to tell you something that's very important that's going on, and it should not miss anyone's attention. Since the election, the stock market, the Dow Jones has declined dramatically, over 600 points. The world equity markets have lost over $1 trillion. This is very, very important. But, of course, over here in the States, they're not talking about that. They're talking about the sex and the CIA scandal.
Yeah. But is this because the world stock markets, in particular the US stock market, didn't particularly want Obama to be re-elected? Is it a reaction to the re-election of President Obama, or is there something else going on?
No, it is a reaction because what happened was that with Obama getting re-elected, everyone expects more of the same. Had Romney got elected, then people would have bought into the charade oh, he's a businessman, he'll fix it, give him time. So he would have gotten probably another 8 months to a year and a half, and they could have, fooled the people and said, well, we're doing this plan and that plan, and we have this idea and that idea. But with Obama, there's no new ideas. This is historic. Do you realize that the bloom has gone off the Obama rose immediately after the election? Listen, I'm 66 years old. I've been around this game a long time and watched a lot of presidential races come and go. I've never seen one deflate as quick as this one.
So can you see the market coming back? Because, a lot of people in Australia, they're linked in with the global market through the superannuation funds. A lot of people are concerned about what will happen. Are you suggesting that we're just going to see more deterioration on the world markets because of the re-election of President Obama? This will ripple around the world?
What I believe is that as goes America, goes much of the world. So when you look at the market performance, you can see how drastically it's declined. And again, I'm not making this stuff up. It's the day after Election Day, the market has its biggest fall off in a year. You look a week later, and you can see the rapid declines continuing. So no, Obama has a lot to do with it. I've said this, I'm a political atheist. I don't take sides in this stuff. And I said from the beginning, this was a race between a stuffed shirt and an empty suit. And the empty suit won. People have no expectations from Obama. It's as simple as that.
On to other matters, Gerald Celente here on 891 Mornings with our regular chat from America about the trends there. Now, look, in your own life, I understand that you're taking an action against one of the internet giants. You're suing Google. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, there are people, if you put in my name, Gerald Celente blog, right away you'll see Gerald Celente Trends blog.
Yes.
And then it will say Trends and Forecasts. They just changed it a couple of days ago to Trends and Prophecies. And then you will see an ad up there, Gerald Celente talking about an economic decline, and go to somebody selling something. And you think it's my blog. And then it has all of this information. Recent information up there was that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and the Vatican were in concert with trying to start an Islamic Christian war. People think this is my website. Why shouldn't they? It says Gerald Celente Trends blog. Google has refused to take it down. They have an imposter policy. It's an imposter that they have an imposter policy. I'm going at this for over a year and a half. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees. And we get a moronic, inane letter back from Google saying we have no provisions over content of a blog. Well, we're not talking about provisions, what you can do with the content. We're talking about this is a clear imposter.
Are you saying, Gerald Celente, that someone could put up a site saying Barack Obama blog and just have a false blog up there? I mean, surely if it was... is it because it's you, or is it the same rule for everyone? No,
it's the same rule for everyone. But you see, the thing here, Ian, it's okay if they put up a blog and they talk about me positively or negatively. That's not what I'm complaining about. This thing is filled with advertisements.
Someone's taking the money for the advertising, so is Google taking the money for the advertising?
Yes, it's part of their AdSense, which makes no sense. So what happens is you could put up, because I'm very popular worldwide, people want to know what I'm saying. They go to Gerald Celente Trends blog. They think it's me. This thing is filled with advertising. This guy's trading off my name. And Google refuses to take it down because I don't know why. Either they don't know what the word imposter means, or they're too stupid to understand it, or they're making too much money off it, or they just don't care.
What will happen next then? Where's
I'm going to court on Monday, this coming Monday. We're going to New York City court, and it's costing me a lot of money.
And what will happen if you win? Will you just get it taken down, or will you get some damages?
Well, Google, then you have to go through a whole other process. All I want the damn thing is to be taken down. That's all I've ever asked for from the beginning.
Who's the person that's doing it? Have you found out who they are?
We don't know. And Google won't tell us. It looks like me, Gerald Celente Trend Blog. This is a disgrace. Oh, and by the way, my name is trademarked and I'm protected under other laws that Google refuses to abide by because Google rules.
Well, Gerald Celente, we'll follow that with interest. Look, just getting back to the issue of the American alliance with Australia, there's even talk, in fact, there was talk recently about strengthening that alliance, having more troops here, having warships come here. Do you think that China, sitting aside watching all of this, if you like, the reconfirming of the Australian-US alliance, is going to have an impact with the trade that's done between Australia and China, or the trust between Australia and China?
Look what it's done between Japan and China. Look how the United States has instigated this war that's heating up now over these useless islands between China and Japan. Japan is now going into a severe recession. One of their biggest trading partners is China. Over what? America is a warmongering nation. And there's no doubt about that. Look, by their deeds you shall know them. And all these politicians, by the way, keep talking about our founding fathers. Our founding fathers would be turning in their graves. They kept telling us not to get involved in foreign entanglements. But Eisenhower warned of Americans' military-industrial complex taking over the nation. And he was a 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces, and 2-term president, Republican at that. So what's happening is that they've lost in Afghanistan, they've lost in Iraq, they're destabilizing the Middle East, and now they're going to go for one more loss. And this loss is going to be a huge loss to everybody. It's going to be with China. It's already heating up. And as you said, what good is going to come from this as I see it? Look, Japan is now realigning its relationship with the United States. You see President Obama making an Asian trip. What do you think this trip is about? It's about building up a bigger military in the South Pacific and Asia.
Does the United States have a genuine fear of China militarily? Is this what it's about? Or is it frightened of China's influence in an economic sense?
I don't think they are at all. Not when you look at the United States military compared to anybody's. What does China have? All the news that they made, Ian, about this new aircraft carrier that China has, it's an old Ukrainian ship that they retrofitted into an aircraft carrier that they don't even have planes to land on. China is in the business of business. The United States is in the business of war. They keep talking about this fiscal cliff that the United States might go off. We're spending over $1 trillion in the military in defense and defense-related expenditures. No one is talking really about cutting anything back other than $50 billion a year over 10 years, which is chump change, considering what they're spending. The F-35 airplanes that the U.S. is building now are going to cost over $1 trillion. No, and who are the we? Are the we General Petraeus, the guy that just got caught with a mistress? Or the we, this other guy, General Allen? This guy's running 68,000 troops over there in Afghanistan and sending thousands of emails to this chick over in Florida? I mean, who sends this kind of emails? Who are the we? The we are out of their minds that are congressmen, senators, presidents, and generals that are afraid of China. Who are the we?
Well, look, thanks for your time, Gerald Celente, and keep us posted on your Celente versus Google in the courts. Look forward to talking to you next time.
Hey, thank you, Ian.